Hello, hello. Welcome in to tonight's broadcast of the 988 Hotline 225 here in the Donut Box Xfinity Series. We've got about a minute left to go here in practice, and we're at beautiful Atlanta Motor Speedway for some pack racing tonight. We take a look back at last week. We were at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Mark Parkhurst taking home his first win of the season. Points leader Cam Patterson finishing runner-up, followed by Cody Moore, Shane Fuller, John McIntyre. Then 6 through 10 is Chris Bishop, Logan Feschishin, Tony Osborne, Andy Lewis, Bill Sleep. We do have a new top 10 challenge after Cam Patterson has won the first two. And so those drivers that finished top 10 last week will be competing for yet another $10 prize from yours truly. Like I mentioned, we're here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, 147 laps tonight, 225 miles. Stages are going to be at 40 and 85. Of course, as always, they run fixed setups. One faster pair, 4 sets of tires. About 10 seconds here in practice left. Shane Fuller, quickest on the board in practice, followed by Cody Moore. And then birthday boy Christian Taylor. It's his birthday today. Shout out to him. Everybody sing it. Happy I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. But anyways, these drivers are getting ready to hit the track for qualifying, and we'll see who can set the fastest time. These drivers tonight. The red line rule is in effect tonight. These drivers will not be able to go below the red line. They'll have to stay above that red line during qualifying. If it's found that they went below it, it will not be good for them. They will be penalized. Got a lot of cool stuff happening behind the scenes with the broadcast. Finally picked up a third screen so I can share a little bit more information with you guys a lot easier, thankfully. Some of the information I got for you right now is I can see with my track map, Mr. Rick Wilmot, the mad cow himself. He's going to be the first one across the stripe to start his qualifying tonight. We'll see what kind of time Mr. Rick can put on the board. You also got Cam Patterson out there running his qualifying. He's got somebody right behind him. I can't tell who it is. Bill Sleep also on track starting his qualifying along with Andy Lewis in that green 08 and Shane Fuller as well. You'll see Mighty Donut Motorsports tonight decked out in paints in honor of tonight's sponsor, the 988 Hotline, or the 988 Suicide Lifeline. You'll see on the lap board right there, 24/7 call, text, chat. It's the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Quickest on the board so far, the man in the 64, Bill Sleep, with a 32.701. We'll watch and see if he can improve on that time on lap 2. Several drivers crossing the stripe. Rick Wilmot, new pole leader for just this second. Cam Patterson immediately takes it away, 32.394 for the 38 machine. Bill Sleep comes across the stripe. He moves into your second spot with a 32.5, and it's immediately gone. And then that one's immediately gone, and then that one's immediately gone. Holy moly, Tyler Smith in that 23 Manila Wafers car right there, making me hungry. Finishes up his qualifying. Christian Taylor, he's heading onto the backstretch now, working on his second lap along with the 88 Cody Moore. Another cool thing behind the scenes for the stream, I finally used a few more extra brain cells that I was holding on to and realized there is a way I can set up to be able to hear the in-game radio. So if there's any sort of penalties or anything like that, I'll be able to pass that along to you. Taylor finished with his lap, sitting in 6th. Moore finished with his. He's sitting in the 4th spot. Right now, no one challenging the 38 for that points or that qualifying lead. But a new challenger approaches. Chris Bishop. That is a very pretty car he's rocking tonight. I believe he's just now starting his qualifying attempt. First lap puts him in 12th near the bottom of the board, 33.106, but we'll see if he's able to improve on that on lap number 2. Coming out of turn 4, heading towards the start-finish line, Chris Bishop with a time of 32.518, puts him in a solid 10th place. The 88 Cody Moore getting a few extra laps on track. Take a closer look at that paint. Mighty Donut Motorsports as a group, all rocking a similar style, of course, with their own numbers tonight. You can see there on the hood, hashtag 988 National Suicide Prevention Line. On the front of that 88 Cody Moore. It looks like these drivers, they've made the decision from appearances, and I will double check with the 88 before I judge. Hey Cody, it's Jesse up in the booth. Quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
I had to leave the drivers meeting a little bit early to start the stream. If you pit under green, do you have to get on the apron before turn 3? Is that what I'm seeing the practice for?
Yes, sir. So you will have to pit below, or on the backstretch, you have to pull down, and you must be below the red line before the start of turn 3, which has been judged to be, it's hard to describe, but essentially there's a marker on the track. There's like a patch that we're going to use as like the judgment of that is the start of the corner, and you must be below it before that. Post-race, we will be going through and reviewing it, but during session, if it's instantly noticed, your first failure to do so will be an EOL at the next caution, pass through, and then a 1-lap hold. If it causes a wreck, then you are instantly getting a 1-lap hold, and it escalates from there.
Alrighty, 10-4. Well, I got you in here qualifying 4th. Of course, Atlanta's going to be a drafting track tonight. And MDM, a lot of success on drafting tracks. You looking to collect another win tonight?
Hopefully. This is not my favorite drafting track. It's such a different way of doing drafting. It's a lot of fun, but it's very difficult. These cars get to be a handful after a few laps, so I think it's going to come down to not just who can get the best pushes, but who can save the tires, because I really do feel like after about 10, 15 laps, you're not going to see as much pushing because the cars just get so unsettled.
All right. Any issues with the setup, with the recent update to the Xfinity cars, or everything seemed good with that?
It seems pretty good. Just gets really, you lose a lot of front end grip if you're the first couple cars in the pack, and if you're farther back in the pack, it seems like you're losing the rear end grip quicker. So it's just kind of be about managing that tire set with this setup.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, and I'll let you get back down with your team with about 2 minutes till we grid up. Thank you.
Thank you much, sir.
That was Mr. Cody Moore. Discord's throwing me off with these spooky join and leave sounds. I'm assuming that's for Halloween. I didn't know what the hell was going on for a second. You see David Mayo, sole driver on track, seeing if he can sneak up the leaderboard here. He's finishing up his second lap at the moment. Across the stripe, 32.504 puts him in 9th place. Of course, we're here tonight for Atlanta Motor Speedway. I know the date's wrong on this. I promise I'll eventually get around to fixing it, but we're doing Atlanta tonight, 147 laps, and then next week we're going to be at the Tricky Triangle Pocono Raceway for an 80-lap showdown, and then after we get through with Pocono, it's going to be our Halloween. Oh, cancel that. I believe the plan is for next week for Halloween, we're going to run Nashville for the All-Star race, and then Pocono is going to be moved to the week after, if I remember correctly. Then once we get through with those two races, we start seeing some left and right turns. Once again, we saw Coda earlier in the season, week 4. Then we're going to be heading to the Chicago Street Course. That's going to be a fun one to watch. I'm excited. I have not raced that track. Of course, I watched them race it in real life, and it definitely seems like quite the time. So I'll be excited to see what our drivers can do. We got Christian Taylor getting some support in the chat for his birthday. Cam Patterson also with some fans out there. Hearing now on the radio, Warren Young not attending this race will have some serious potential playoff implications for him. He has a win this season, but there is a minimum attendance, a minimum amount of races that you have to race to be able to be considered win and end, aka locked into our playoffs. Missing this race will put him below the number of races that you must attend. So if he's going to get into the playoffs, he has to do it the old school way and point his way in. So that'll be good news for any drivers looking to get a few extra points. As we're sneaking ever so closer to the playoffs, again, I'll show you the schedule. We've only got 6 races left, including this one. So 5 more races after tonight. And then we'll be getting right into the round of 12. It may seem like it's forever, but it's slowly sneaking closer. Looks like we're just waiting on the nil away for himself, Mr. Tyler Smith in that 23 machine. There he is. We're going to be getting ready to go pacing before we go racing. Take a walk through your grid. Front row is going to be the 38 Cam Patterson and the 23 of Tyler Smith. Row 2 is going to be the 57 of Shane Fuller. 88 Cody Moore. Cam Patterson dropping to the back. Not sure what happened there, but it looks like he won't be on our front row, but we'll continue on anyways. Going to be rolling off row 3, the 08 Andy Lewis, and then you got the 96 Christian Taylor. Row 4 going to be the 62 Scott Ford Jr., and then the 64 Bill Sleep. Row 5, the 35 David Mayo. And Frank Warner, number 9 machine, rolling off 10th. I just got word on the radio. The reason the 38 is getting the EOL is because of an improper penalty served last week. We continue our quick grid walk. Christopher Bishop, Logan Festchician, row 6. Row 7 is going to be the 10 Tony Osborne, and the 40 Rick Wilmot. Row 8. The 04 Mark Parkhurst winner last week, and John McIntyre. And then back here in the back is going to be the 15 Jack Scoville, back after a few week break. As we go back out front and get ready for this thing to start Pace car's off. Green flag is out here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for 147 laps. Tyler Smith getting a good start on the bottom. Shane Fuller right behind him. Everything's calm through one corner. Everything is fine. No demolition derby yet. Of course, you might see, whoa, 96 getting a little high up on the track there. That was a slightly scary moment there, but everything seems to be okay. Of course, first stage is going to be lap 45. I'm sorry, lap 40. First stage will be lap 40, so we'll see if these guys are going to be patient till we get to that point. I know Cody can hear me. Whoa, Shane Fuller getting loose into the wall. We got wrecking. It's the 88, 57, 96 all involved. Green flag was still out for a while there. 57, 88, 96, the ones I could see involved. Christian Taylor getting an early birthday gift here at Atlanta. Let's go back and take a look and see what in the world happened on lap 3 here. Let's take another look here from the point of view of Shane Fuller. He just gets loose through the corner, slides down, and just, yeah, him getting loose turns the 88 when he gets stuck on the wall. 96, nowhere to go. The 10, Tony Osborne, did an excellent job of avoiding that. Let's go back and take another look from his perspective. Right on board with the 10 through this mess. See the tire smoke from Shane getting loose and just getting the wall. What a move by the 10. Threading the frickin' needle. Incredible job. We go back live. We got a pretty much the whole field hitting pit road here. Pre-race, I was told these cars will have about 34 to 38 laps of fuel, depending on where you are in the pack. If you're leading it, you're probably going to be on the shorter end of that. If you're back in the back using the draft, you're probably going to be on the better off end on the fuel mileage. But being that it is so close to the fuel window, you see a lot of these guys opting to come down now. Several drivers did stay out. Scott Ford Jr., Frank Warner chose to stay out. Chris Bishop in the 42 stays on track, along with the 10, Tony Osborne, and I believe the 40, Rick Wilmot. Yes, there he is. They all stayed out during this pit stop. On lap 5 of 147. While we're pacing here, let's go ahead and get a refresher on our current points through week 8. Cam Patterson building up a massive lead, over a race's worth of points over our new second place point sitter, Mark Parkhurst. After his win last week, he took the spot from Cody Moore, who's now sitting in third. Shane Fuller, Andrew Lewis rounding it out. You see our drivers get ready to follow the choose rule. Choose an inside or outside. See everybody there taking the choose, but we go back and finish up the points. Chris Bishop, Logan Fesch-Chisholm, Tony Osborne, Frank Warner, and then John McIntyre moving up 5 spots last week rounds out your top 10. Biggest loser, not at the race last week, not here tonight. Warren Young falling down to 14th. He was 7th last week. as these drivers head through turns 1 and 2. Several of the drivers that pit during the first stop came back down pit road just to top their fuel off. Tyler Smith, Bill Sleep, David Mayo, among others. Making sure they're going to be good on fuel. You see them all lining up on the bottom lane. Cam Patterson enjoying the early caution. He's going to get some track position from those guys taking a second pit stop. And Scott Ford in the 62 going to be leading the way to our first restart of the night. Pace car getting ready to dip off the track. There it goes. And the 62, Scott Ford, going to lead our drivers tonight into the restart zone. Green flag is back out here at Atlanta. 42's got a big gap behind him. Looked to me like the 62 did a bit of an early shift to make sure the 9, Frank Warner, could stick with him. Behind those two, you've got Minor Motorsports teammates Logan Festush and Cam Patterson now working together. To me, it looks like the 42 and 10 stranded for a moment, but it looks like they're about to get some help from Jack Scoville, Shane Fuller. Of course, Shane Fuller and Christian Taylor involved in that accident on lap 2. Fuller and Taylor back on track. Unfortunately for the 88 of Cody Moore, he's currently sitting on pit road getting repairs. Heard on the radio he had a bit of an issue with his fast repair, so that's unfortunate for the 88. He's going to fall several laps down. Scott Ford leading the way. Pretty even lines right now behind the 62. I think everybody just saw what can happen if you push these cars too hard, too early. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see everybody now that they're good on fuel. I wouldn't be surprised if everybody just kind of hangs out and chills until we get, closer to the end of the stage. Atlanta, one of the harder draft tracks to make moves on. While they did make it a bit bigger than it used to be, corners are still fairly skinny, as you saw the 96 brush the wall. That outside lane right now doing a good job sticking with the inside lane. Storm Motorsports first and second right now, the 62 and the 9, Scott Ford and Frank Warner teammates. Chris Bishop in that 42 car, first car on the outside. Going to be a driver for Off-Camber Racing. Then you got the 10 and the 57, Tony Osborne, Shane Fuller behind him. Bishop in that 42 with a good chance to move down a lane if he wanted to. He elects to stay up high. Kind of surprised by that, to be honest with you. It doesn't look like the outside lane can really make anything work. But now that I say that, he does draw even with the 62, at least for the second. As far as it goes, spoke about it earlier with Cody Moore when it comes to the pack racing here in the Xfinity cars. Cody Moore, 2-time winner at Daytona in these Xfinity cars here in the Donut Box Racing Leagues. Jordan Schurer, winner at Talladega. Doesn't look like Jordan made the race tonight. This is the first time these Xfinity cars have tackled Atlanta here in this series. Donut Box Truck Series did race here at one point, and the winner was myself. I got a win in the trucks in my beautiful Fanta Orange 97 Toyota Tundra. One day you guys will see it, possibly. Actually, I believe if you go on the Donut Box Racing League's channel, there are a lot of the back streams from back when we ran the Donut Box Truck Series. You might be able to spot it in there. Not sure if I was running that paint yet, but it was beautiful. Both your inside and outside lanes looking pretty much the same here. Drivers just ticking down laps. It'll be interesting to see if Scott Ford is going to have enough fuel to make it through the stage while he's leading this pack. He has not come down pit road yet. Your top four actually are the four that have not come down pit road. So those four that are in the front, they might have to come down pit road while everybody else can stay out if this thing does stay green. Which right now it's looking like it might. Of course, you never would have expected our first wreck to happen, to be honest with you. The 57 car just got loose through the middle of the corner. So here at Atlanta, those things can kind of just happen and jump out of nowhere. 88 Cody Moore is back on track. The pack hot on his tail. He's just going to drop to the apron. Scott Ford almost getting turned off the nose of the 42 there. That was close. As we're going to get ready to hit lap 20 of 147 here. Let's go ahead and crank it up for a little bit. Chris Taylor getting a little sideways. Able to hold on to it. No caution. Gonna lose a lot of spots. Nobody got into him though. Let's go ahead and go back and take another look at that. See what happened to the 96. Just catches the fence coming out of the tri-oval and gets loose. Good job by the 40, Rick Wilmot, to get around him. He's going to be losing the draft here, though. He may have some damage. 62. Scott Ford continues to be your leader. Scott Ford having a pretty good season. Had a bit of a rough start. He's been bouncing back as of late. Usually really quick in practice. Hasn't had a great finish yet this season. No podiums, I believe, for the 62. But definitely one of those drivers that can turn it around and have himself a good race. Scott Ford Jr. He's a rookie to the Donut Box Xfinity Series. Car behind him there, the blue Storm Motorsports number 9, Frank Warner, longtime veteran here on iRacing. Everybody just taking their time, though, playing it smart. Keeping in mind there's a long race left. 62 goes up the track. Not sure if he just got a little loose or if it was planned. The top line did kind of fall apart. Bishop's still out there trying to keep it going, but he doesn't have any help behind him now. Tony Osborne's falling way back. But you see, Minor Motorsports teammates Logan Festich and Cam Patterson, they're going to see if they can make something happen for the race lead. They move up to the top lane in front of Bishop and Osborne. 78 getting a little loose off the corner. When we talked to Cody Moore pre-race, he did warn us that the tires do wear here and the cars will get looser as the run continues. 15 car getting loose, getting sideways, able to hold on to it, causing a checkup on that bottom lane. Ford goes up to block that top lane. I believe he pushed up middle of the corner as well. We'll see if he comes back down here to join his Storm Motorsports teammates, as you got Frank Warner and the magician Jack Scoville on the bottom. Oh no! Warner's around. Frank Warner, David Mayo, Logan Festich into the wall. From the sounds of the radio, Frank Warner saying he got tight coming out of the corner and just happened to not be clear of the 78. Let's go back and take another look. I'll hop on the chopper cam for this one. See the 9 Frank Warner there on the bottom lane. Just pushing up the track and was almost clear of the 78, and a little netcode helped him around. Tony Osborne doing a pretty good job once again to avoid the incident. Let's go back and see if we can see what sent David Mayo around, if it was just hitting the brakes for the caution or if something else happened to the 35. Uh, 42 and 57 hard into the wall. Heavy damage on those cars. That's Shane Fuller's second out of 2 cautions tonight where he's been involved. And that 35 machine is not looking good for Mr. David Mayo. A lot of cars on pit road. The 88 Cody Moore getting a wave around. Mark Parkhurst elects to stay out on 26 lap old tires to lead the field. Race off pit road, Logan Festich out first. Fuel only for him, only 6-second pit stop. John McIntyre. And I'm not sure who that other car was, but Cam Patterson having himself a long stop here. He finally gets back out. With about 9 laps to go left in this stage, we're going to go ahead and have a quick break, and we'll be back with you for this green flag. Mark Parkhurst in that 04 on the top lane. Gonna be the control car in the restart zone. He's got John McIntyre underneath him. Jack Scoville and Scott Ford Jr. gonna be row 2. Row 3 is gonna be Cam Patterson and Mr. Tyler Smith. Not sure what's going on back there in the rest of the field. They can figure it out. But I do believe the green flag going to come back out here. When it drops, we'll have about 7 laps to go in stage 1. We'll see who can pick up those valuable stage points, if anyone's going to make any crazy moves to try to get a few extra ones, or if someone's going to junk the field. Green flag out. Parkhurst with a good jump. Jack Scoville behind him. Let's get the music out of here. We're back racing. Parkhurst with a huge jump. That could be trouble for him. These guys are going to catch him quick. Scoville in the 15 on the top lane. He's going to be by himself, falling back now. For a second, it looked like the 62 of Ford was going to look underneath John McIntyre. Chooses to back off. 2 cars loose right now, but he's able to hold on to it. Scoville's been able to bounce back. He moves into the 2nd spot now. In your top lane right now, Cam Patterson, Tyler Smith, Andy Lewis. That 2 of John McIntyre. I think he either took fuel last stop or just right side tires, but that car is wrecking loose, and it is wrecking. Gets into the 38 and the 23 involved. The 40 and the 9. Shane Fuller into the wall once again. And the field is junked. Motor is heavily damaged there for the 2. It might not even be running anymore. He has to tow. Not sure what the strategy call was there from the 2. We'll go back and take another look. Like we mentioned earlier, the 2 did not take 4 tires under that previous pit stop to get some track position. And that thing just gets loose. 38 and the 23, nowhere to go. Of course, the 57, Shane Fuller, again more contact for the 57. Take a closer look at the front of that car. Neither of those wheels rolling. I'm not sure how it's still moving. That's a new one for me. But he's going to limp it back around to pit road, I'm sure. We go back live. Yep, 57 coming down pit road. Mark Parkhurst in that 04. He's going to take the lead back over. He had the lead earlier. I'm here now on the radio. The plan is to go back green before the stage ends and have a couple laps shootout to see who can be our stage 1 winner tonight here at Atlanta. Hotlanta. Lots of drivers upset right now at this being the new Atlanta. Lots of damaged cars very, very early in this race. Current ambient temperature right now, only 74 degrees, but that sun is out and shining. Clear skies. The track is up to 120 degrees. Looks like our drivers making their chooses here. The 04 Mark Parkhurst goes up high. 15 of Jack Scoville following him. That's going to give the bottom lane to the 62 Scott Ford and the 10 Tony Osborne. Logan Festchich in that 78 choosing the outside. Andy Lewis in the 08 on the bottom, followed by Christian Taylor. As we get ready to go back green, we're going to basically have ourselves a 3-lap shootout for stage 1. I'm sure if we go back green and then we get another quick yellow, that'll probably call the stage. Lights are off on the pace car, getting ready to go green one more time here at Atlanta. 3 cautions so far through 37 laps. We'll see if we can keep it green through stage 1, ending at the end of lap 40. Pace car is off. 04 Mark Parkhurst out front, going to be the control car. Green flag back out. The 15 Jack Scoville missed a couple of the most recent races. He's back on the track tonight, and he's looking to have a good stage 1 finish. He's right behind your leader. Side by side for third is going to be the 78 Logan Festchich and the 62 Scott Ford. Ford going to be able to take that spot, and he's got a good run here. He's going to look to the outside of teammate Jack Scoville. A little bit of lag there. I don't like that. I can stop at any minute. Lap 39 here. We're going to have 2 more laps around Atlanta here. Side by side for the lead. 62 and the 04. Behind them, the 15 and the 78. 62 and the 04 looking like they were almost door to door there going into turn 3. Parkhurst looked like he was thinking about going up to block for a second. Thought better of it. Across the stripe. Parkhurst has the lead. White flag for the stage is now out. Still side by side for your lead. We might have a photo finish for stage 1. Is Logan Festchich going to make a move to try to get the stage points for himself? Or is he going to stick behind the 62? He looks up on the high side. The 62 and 04 get together. The 15 is loose behind. 15 still loose, getting sideways. Locks it down across the stripe. Scott Ford Jr., winner of stage 1. Logan Festchich, second place, stage 1, followed by Andy Lewis, Mark Parkhurst, Cam Patterson, rounding out your top 5. Top 10 going to be Tyler Smith, Christian Taylor, Tony Osborne, Bill Sleep, Christopher Bishop. Scott Ford Jr., Stage 1 winner. Let's go ahead and find Mr. Ford. Have a quick word with him as they catch the pace car. Scott, it's Jesse up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah.
Congrats on Stage 1 win, man. Good job winning Stage 1. How's the car feeling tonight for you in that Orkin machine?
It's good.
Alrighty. Congrats again on the Stage 1 finish, and I'll send you back down.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, Discord's so annoying. Sorry about that. That's better. I somehow sent myself down into his chat. It does that to me every once in a while, and I don't know what's going on. Scott Ford, man of many words, elects to stay out here for the beginning of Stage 2. Rick Wilmot in the 40 going to take the wave around. Ford, the only driver to stay out. 78 Logan Festitian, fuel only as well for Cam Patterson and Andy Lewis. 96 Christian Taylor, fuel only, as well as Tyler Smith. Looks to me like the only driver that decided to come down and take fresh tires is going to be the 04 Mark Parkhurst. Some other drivers on pit road with long pit stops, probably fixing up some damage from the wrecks we've had already tonight. Of course, this is the stage break right now. Other than that, we've had 3 cautions so far. But Scott Ford Jr., 62, taking home a stage win. He's a driver for Storm Motorsports. Let's check in on our team point standings right now. Mighty Donut Motorsports with a pretty big lead. 69 points ahead of Team Send It. Nice. Storm Motorsports in third with 716. Off Camber Racing, Minor Motorsports, First Lap Legends round out the team point standings. Our drivers choosing lanes this time. Ford Jr. Going to be your control car. Take a quick break and we'll be ready to go green shortly. Pace car getting ready to come back off the track. Scott Ford, 62, going to be your control car. Logan Festitian to his outside. Behind them two is Andy Lewis, Cam Patterson. They get into the restart zone. Green flag back out here at Atlanta. Lap 44 of 147. Finishes stage 2. It'll be lap 85. Our field is already starting to look decimated here. 17 drivers showing up tonight. The 2-car John McIntyre already out of this race. Cody Moore 11 laps down. Frank Warner, Shane Fuller still in pit road. Likely out of this race as well. They could just be fixing damage and looking to get back out here. As I say that, Frank Warner heading back out onto the track. But it looks like we're going to have ourselves a new leader. Logan Festitian, with the help of Cam Patterson, moves out in front. They're going to move to the bottom line now. Kind of leaving the 96 Christian Taylor out to dry a little bit. Hopefully he can get some help. Somebody help the man with some draft. It's his birthday, for God's sakes. 100 laps to go here in tonight's event. You got two teammates leading the pack. Of course, Cam Patterson sitting in second place right now. He is your points leader. Only driver of Donut Box Xfinity Series Season 2 to have multiple wins. He's got 3 of them. I'm sure he'll be looking to make it a 4th tonight to see if he can extend that points lead. Looked like we had somebody get up into the wall there. Looks like that was the 15, Jack Scoville, going to fall back. At 62, Scott Ford Jr. going to be making another run here, trying to get towards the lead. He's got 96 Christian Taylor, his teammate, behind him now. They don't really have too much help behind, though. You see the 10, Tony Osborne, but he's a little bit farther back than you'd like to see. Field definitely getting spread out. You've got this main group of cars here with the 88 Cody Moore tailing a bit behind, and then farther back, scored 1 lap down right now, is Rick Wilmot, and then kind of riding around on the track by themselves, you got the 9 Frank Warner and the 57 Shane Fuller, both 10 laps down. Fuller under a slight threat of being lapped here. If you take a look here, never mind, you can't see it. I was going to show you our track map, but Shane Fuller's exiting turn 4 right now, and the leaders are exiting turn 4 pretty close behind him. So if we don't have a caution here soon, Shane Fuller probably going to be going 11 laps down. Not much has changed here near the front. Top line still Logan Festitian, Cam Patterson, Andy Lewis. Bottom lane still Scott Ford Jr., Christian Taylor, Tony Osborne. Osborne in that 10 car doing a really good job so far of avoiding tonight's accidents. He's been around pretty much every one of them and has somehow been able to keep his car mostly clean. So very good job there by the 10. Can definitely be a little bit difficult. You see off in the distance at the top of your screen, the 57, Shane Fuller, definitely under threat of being caught here to lose another lap. We'll likely see him pull onto the apron whenever the leaders get close. I would imagine that's what he's planning on doing. But while there's not too much going on as far as position changes, we'll go ahead and crank it up one more time for you here. Logan Festchishin in that 78. Been doing a good job of holding on to the lead so far here in Stage 2. Stage 2 staying green after 3 cautions here in Stage 1. That's what we like to see around here, some green flag racing. It's hard to get a good mix of nice, clean green flag racing while also having the entertainment of seeing some people make moves. Speaking of making moves, Scott Ford Jr. was your leader for just a couple of seconds there out of turn 2. Of course, this is probably like 3rd grade level, physics or science or whatever, but the bottom lane is the shortest way around the track. So he's able to sneak out ahead every once in a while coming out of the corners, but that top lane just gets a better run out of the corners. And that's why Logan Festchishin's been able to hold on to this lead. Of course, it helps him to have the consistent help of a teammate behind him in the 38. But yeah, he's led pretty much every lap here in Stage 2. Whenever we hit the stripe next, we're going to have about 25 laps to go in the stage. Scott Ford in that 62 car, he's been out on the track for 30 laps now without pitting. Pre-race information told me that the fuel window is between 34 to 38 laps. So that time's running out for the 62. It'll be interesting to see if he ends up having to pit by himself or if any of his teammates are going to go with him. Everybody else has come down pit road more recently than the 62. The 78 and the 38 now separated. Moving to that bottom lane. With the 62, Scott Ford in between. Andy Lewis, now your lead car, running that outside lane. Top 10 as they sat across the stripe the last time. We'll go ahead and let them cross the stripe here. Top 10 is Logan Festchishin, Scott Ford, Andy Lewis, Cam Patterson, Tyler Smith, Christian Taylor, Jack Scoville, Tony Osborne, Bill Sleep, and David Mayo rounding out your top 10. Ford making another move for the lead here. He's got Andy Lewis behind him. Looks like that move's going to stick. You see the 62 back out to the front. Moves up the track to block that 78 car. Logan Festchishin getting left out to dry. 3 wide with Logan Festchishin, Christian Taylor, Jack Scoville. Everybody able to get through cleanly. That was scary for just a second. Especially when you got somebody underneath you like the magician, Jack Scoville. Ford back out to the lead. 33 lap run for him. Everybody else has about 21 laps on this run. He's now got the 38 Cam Patterson behind him. Followed by Andy Lewis, Jack Scoville, Tyler Smith. 78 Logan Festchishin, after leading all those laps, got shuffled all the way back to 8th position. And the 62 winner of stage 1 back out front. Just a reminder, this race Name to the 988 hotline 225, 24/7 call, text, or chat. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you're going through something, there's people there for you. Don't be afraid to reach out for some help. Also got to give a special shout out to not a driver in our Xfinity Series, but well known in Donut Box and many other leagues I run in, Mr. Ivan Desham. Had some bad news about his son today, who is in on life support. So we're definitely keeping our thoughts with him and his son. Hoping everything goes well. Cam Patterson at 38. Makes a move on the 62. He's going to take over the lead for the first time tonight after having to serve an EOL at the beginning of the race for improperly serving a penalty in the race before. At 62, Scott Ford, he's getting loose. He's up into the wall. You got somebody dropping down on the apron. I'm assuming that was a lap car. It is. That's the 9, Frank Warner, letting the field by. A 62 drops off quick. We're probably going to see him hit pit road shortly, as he is pretty much at the end of the fuel window. Several drivers getting ready to come down pit road. Andy Lewis, Tyler Smith, both electing to come down. They had some cars behind them too. I can't see. Looks like to be the 62, Scott Ford Jr. going to be with them. Cam Patterson, Logan Fischischen leading this race. They're going to be hitting pit road this time. They dip down onto the apron. That's going to give the 88 of Cody Moore his lap back for now. Just kidding. Tony Osborne in the 10 is in front of him. They look so similar. I couldn't tell the difference from that for just this second. Andy Lewis, Tyler Smith, Scott Ford Jr. all making their way off pit road with 4 fresh tires and fuel. 15 laps to go here in stage 1. Moore does take that spot over to get one of his laps back. Your drivers left on track, your top 5 that has not come down pit road yet. Tony Osborne, Bill Sleep, David Mayo, Mark Parkhurst, Chris Bishop. The 15 of Jack Scoville and the 96, Christian Taylor, they're on pit road right now. Rick Wilmot electing as well to hit pit road. These guys out on the track right now have ran 29 laps. They will have to pit before the stage ends. As far as it goes for drivers who have come down and made that stop, you've got Cam Patterson, Logan Fischischen here with the help of the lapped car of Frank Warner. Christian Taylor, Jack Scoville a little bit farther behind as a 2-car tandem. And a little farther behind them, you got the 23 and the 08, Tyler Smith. Turn our attention back out front. Tony Osborne continues to lead. Bill Sleep, David Mayo behind. As you see, Tony Osborne coming down to pit lane by himself. It's not going to be good for the 10 car. He's not going to have any help when he comes off of pit road. It's going to make Bill Sleep in the 64 your new leader. Bill Sleep, David Mayo, Mark Parkhurst, 1, 2, and 3 for Team Send It right now, yet to pit. Looks like Mark Parkhurst David Mayo rocking matching paints here. Bill Sleep did not get the memo. We're officially at the halfway point of tonight's race. 73 laps to go. 64 pushes up high out of the corner. Feeling those old tires. These guys are on 33 lap old tires. Actually, Bill Sleep's tires are older than that, and Mark Parkhurst. Neither of them took tires under their last pit stop, so they're really feeling it right now. I imagine we'll be seeing these guys come down pit road any minute. You can see Logan Fish and Cam Patterson, Frank Warner at the top of your screen there for just a second. They're about to catch this lead group of cars, which tells me they're going to be in a really good position once those guys pit. They don't really have any threat behind. The closest drivers of Andy Lewis, Tyler Smith, they're about half a straightaway back from the 78 and the 38. The 42, Christopher Bishop, going to come down pit road this time. Jack Scoville comes down pit road again after only running 7 laps. The 9, Frank Warner, makes his way to pit road as well. Logan Fish and Cam Patterson have caught the lead group now, and they're passing them on the outside. Mayo and Sleep head down pit road. Parkhurst staying out, the lone team member of Team Send It, to not come down pit road. Parkhurst will lead lap 79. He looks to be stretching his fuel number as far as he can. He is by himself in no man's land. Also by themselves, well, not quite by themselves, but the 78 and 38, Logan Fish and Cam Patterson, calling for the strategy of fuel only during their pit stop has paid off for them. The 2 cars with them, Jack Scoville, Rick Woolman, are laps down. Whoa, the 15, Jack Scoville, mowing some grass. Got loose going into the tri-oval there. That's not good for the 15. You see Andy Lewis and Tyler Smith there at the top of your screen. They're about 2.5 seconds back from your leaders right now. But we've only got about 5 laps left to go in the stage, and as far as it looks right now, it looks like it's going to come down to these 2 teammates. Right now, the 04 Mark Parkhurst, though, is still your leader. 39 laps on this run. He's pretty much got to come down this time, and it looks like he will. So he'll be your last car to pit. Andy Lewis and Tyler Smith are actually catching the 78 and the 38 pretty quickly. The 08 and the 23 are on newer tires, and that could be being a factor right now. Logan Physician Cam Patterson's last laps, 33.00. Andy Lewis and Tyler Smith an entire second faster on their new tires. I did not think the tire strategy was going to play into the finish of this stage, but it looks like it's going to. If the 23 and the 08 continue at this pace, yes, they have caught the 78 and 38. They're going to look low on the 40. Rick Wilmot probably scared the crap out of him. Was about to look low on the 38 there, not able to make it happen. Tyler Smith goes to the top lane by himself. 78 up to block. The 23 goes low, gets under the 78. Tyler Smith going to be your new leader here, as we've only got 2 laps left here in the stage. You see the 38, Cam Patterson. He got loose there coming out of the corner. Those tires are hurting right now. Looks like your stage 2 win is going to come down to these 2 drivers in the 08 and the 23. Just a few laps ago, I didn't think anyone was going to be able to catch Cam Patterson and Logan Fish-Chisholm, and I was wrong. When they come across the stripe this time, it'll be white flag for stage. Into this lap, we'll crown our stage 2 winner. Will it be Tyler Smith? Will it be Andrew Lewis? Will Cam Patterson or Logan Fish-Chisholm be able to make a move here on older tires? Fish-Chisholm looks low on the 08. Andy Lewis. Can Tyler Smith and the 23 hold him off? 78 getting loose. That's going to kill their run. Across the stripe, the 23, Tyler Smith, wins stage number 2 here at Atlanta. Andy Lewis, Logan Fish-Chisholm, Cam Patterson, Scott Ford Jr. going to round out your top 5. Let's go ahead and have a quick chat with stage 1 winner, stage 2 winner, Mr. Tyler Smith. Tyler, it's Jesse up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on the stage 2 win. I got to be honest with you, with about 5 laps to go in that stage, I didn't think you guys had a chance of catching the 78 and the 38, and then those newer tires paid off for you and your teammate. How's it feel?
It feels pretty good. I will say, he's my teammate for today. I've never talked to the guy before. We just jumped in.
You're right. You guys are in the open chat. That's on me. That's on me.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I jumped in there and I was like, "Yo, you want to race together?" And yeah, shout out to him. He's helped me a ton, clearly.
Yeah, definitely the strategy there working out for you guys. I'm sure you'll be coming down pit road here, so I'll let you get back to it. But congrats on your stage 2 win, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Tyler Smith there in that 23. Coming down pit road after his stage 2 victory, securing himself 10 more points. Let's check out where Tyler Smith is in our points standings. He's sitting in 14th right now. He moved up 4 spots last week. That stage 2 win likely going to help him move up even more. Number 40, Rick Wilmot, the Mad Cow himself, getting the wave around this time. Or the Lucky Dog, sorry. We should call it the Lucky Cow, just for this instance. Jack Scoville. He's going to be getting the wave around, it looks like, unless he comes down pit road next time by. As far as your race off pit road goes, looks like everybody deciding to get 4 fresh tires this time. Tyler Smith leads the way, followed by Logan Fish-Chisholm, Andy Lewis, Cam Patterson. With 60 laps to go here, let's go ahead and refresh everybody on your current playoff situation. If it was to end with last week's race, Cam Patterson, Mark Parkhurst, Shane Fuller, Cody Moore, Jordan Shearer all locked in. Warren Young no longer locked in with his win. He'll have to point his way in. Andy Lewis, Chris Bishop, Logan Fish-Chisholm, Tony Osborne, Frank Warner, John McIntyre make up the rest of the top 12. Christian Taylor, David Mayo, Scott Ford, just on the outside with Scott Ford's Stage 1 victory. That'll surely bump him up in the standings. And we'll see if anybody can be winner number 7 here tonight. Of course, we've been through 8 races, 6 different winners. Cam Patterson, the only driver to have multiple wins. If there is going to be a track that we have a new winner, Atlanta's definitely one of them with the higher chance of that happening. Lights are off on the pace car. Will be going green next time by. Tyler Smith, Logan Fish-Chisholm. Make up row 1, Andy Lewis, Cam Patterson, row 2. Mark Parkhurst, Chris Bishop, going to be row 3. Bishop having a kind of a quiet second half to his race here. He was battling for the lead here at the beginning of the race and then ended up having some trouble falling back a little bit, but he's made his way back up the standings here. Then you got the 96 behind him, Christian Taylor, the birthday boy himself, hanging out in 9th place right now. Turn our attention back out front as we're going to see the pace car dip off the track. There he goes. Tyler Smith going to be your control car here into the restart zone. Logan Fish-Chisholm in the 78 to his outside. Green flag back out. Here at Atlanta, Tyler Smith getting a good jump there. Big gap between him and Andy Lewis, though. For a second, I thought the 78 and 38, and yes, they do. They're going to come down, fill that gap. Logan Fish-Chisholm wasting no time, though, with his teammate behind him. He's going to go take the lead over of this race once again. Fish-Chisholm leading a handful of laps there near the end of Stage 2 in that NOS Zero Sugar Ford Mustang. .57 laps to go in tonight's race, the 988 Hotline 225. Let's crank it up one more time for you. Fish-Chisholm and Patterson continuing to lead the way. 04 Tyler Smith, or 04 Mark Parkhurst, though, after winning last week's race at Vegas. Looking to see if he can go back to back now, as he's the first car on the bottom lane. Top 10 across the stripe last time. Fish-Chisholm, Patterson, Parkhurst, Smith, Taylor, Ford Jr., Lewis, Osborne, Bishop, Sleep. Rick Wilmot and Jack Scovler 1 lap down. Shane Fuller, Cody Moore, Frank Warner all 11 laps down. John McIntyre out of this race early. McIntyre, of course, was your biggest mover up the standings last week. Now he'll be heading back down. A lot of side-by-side action so far at the start of the final stage. You see the 96 Christian Taylor. He's now third in line on that top lane. Looking to get a nice gift tonight for his birthday, trying to find his first win of the season. Of course, 78, Logan Fish-Tischen, your current leader, has not had a win yet this year either. Parkhurst winning last week, Patterson having 3 wins already on the season. Racing's definitely looking more exciting here so far in the final stage. Nothing really changing, though, as far as the actual standings are going. Fish-Tischen and Patterson on that top lane still leading the way. See if I can put a stop to all those unnecessary Discord sounds. They definitely sound interesting for Halloween, but they can definitely still be annoying either way. Just under 50 laps to go here. Your drivers will have to come down pit road at least one more time tonight. Wilmot into the wall in the back there. Everybody seems to be able to keep it going. Everybody hold it together. Stay calm. At this point of the race, if I had to choose where I would be in this pack, I'd probably honestly want to be kind of back towards the back in case there was going to be some sort of wreck happening. Just so I can, hopefully have a better chance at avoiding it. But if I couldn't be in the back, I'd like to be where the 96 is, Christian Taylor. He's in a good spot here, sitting third in line on that high side. The problem I see with Atlanta Motor Speedway, at least this new draft track edition, Atlanta Motor Speedway, from the bottom lane, you don't really have many options of making moves when you get towards the end of this thing. It seems like your only option is to go middle, and that depends entirely if the top line is leaving enough space for that. If you're on that top line, you can choose to go middle if the space is there. If the space isn't there, then that means there's space up high. So you got 2 options. Your biggest mover of the race is the man there on the bottom lane, sniffing the lead, is the 04 Mark Parkhurst. Qualified 15th, has found his way back up to 2nd. Cam Patterson in the 38 qualified 1st, but with serving a penalty ended up at the back of the field, so he's also gained plenty of spots tonight in that Red Bull machine. As we're about 17 or so laps on these tires for these guys. See Cam Patterson scuffing the wall. The 96 Taylor is around. Caution is back out here at Las Vegas. The 64 Bill Sleep involved. The 35 David Mayo. You got hoods flying in the air. A 96 car. And the 35 car with engine trouble. Let's go back and take another look. I believe what happened is the 38 Cam Patterson got into the wall out of the corner Taylor trying to avoid it, had nowhere to go. Patterson apologizing on the radio right now. You can see right there the 38 push up. The 96 tries to go low, and the 38 back up into the wall and bounces down. Hard hit for the 35. Frank Warner in that 9 car involved once again. That's probably going to end Frank's night if I had to guess. Let's rewind it back one more time and slow it down here. You can see right here the 38 brushing the wall. When these cars get into the wall, it almost acts like glue sometimes and they slow down. 96 thought he had room middle, but the 38 caught the wall again, sends him back down the track, and he just hooks him around. And then at the very bottom of your screen, the 64, wham, hard into the 38. Lifts the back tires up off the ground. And then the 35, wham, hard in the front end of the 96. Frank Warner nowhere to go. Unfortunate for those guys involved, as we have. After a clean stage 2, we have our first caution since stage 1. Going back live, you see the 96 of Taylor there on pit road. The 38 Cam Patterson also on pit road getting damage repaired. The 78 NOS Zero Sugar Machine Logan Festchishin stays out. How about we put it in full speed here, Mr. Broadcaster? I was wondering why I didn't have any engine sound and why the cars looked like they were going so slow. Rookie mistake. But we'll go ahead and take another short break here on the Donut Box Racing League's YouTube channel. And we'll be back with the green flag of the 988 Hotline 225. So we get ready to drop the green flag once again. Gonna ask the chat if tonight's finish is gonna be a repeat winner, or if we're gonna have someone new coming through at the finish of this race tonight. Green flag back out. Logan Festchishin leading the way. Chris Bishop right behind him. Top line's got Tyler Smith. And then that's going to be Scott Ford Jr. making his way back out to the front. Stage 1 winner in the 62. Bishop going to move back up to that outside lane with Tyler Smith behind him. He's going to make a bid for the lead here. Bit of a unique situation for Logan Festchishin right now. He's had his teammate Cam Patterson behind him all race. Of course, Patterson involved in that last wreck had to come down pit road. He's now separated from his teammate by 2 cars, and that's going to give Chris Bishop the lead now. Bishop going to be for sure your leader. Tyler Smith in that 23, following right behind him. Then you got Mark Parkhurst, that third car in line. Winner last week at Vegas. 38 laps to go here. Parkhurst going to look low. Smith comes down to side draft. They almost touch. I don't think contact was made. Hard to tell. Of course, if you guys are watching, remember to hit that like button and that subscribe button to stay tuned for when these streams go live. It means a lot to have your support. As we've got some racing going on in the front right now. Parkhurst was your leader last lap. Looks like he is going to lead across the stripe again. That's too close to call. Actually, Fishchishin across the stripe by a fender. We've had several lead changes here in the last few laps. The top lane, Parkhurst, Bishop, Smith. Bottom lane's Fishchishin, Ford, and Osborne. Tony Osborne making his way now back up towards the front of this field. A lot of these guys are still going to have to... Everybody, I think, still has to pit one more time. So we'll have to pay attention on who comes down pit road when, what kind of pit strategies might come into effect if this thing stays green. Update on the 96 Christian Taylor. He's still sitting on pit road getting damage repairs. The 9 of Frank Warner is now out of the race, unfortunately. If Taylor does not get his car back off of pit road in the next 3 laps, he's likely going to lose 2 positions to the 57 and 88 of Shane Fuller and Cody Moore, still out on track. Fishchishin leads across the stripe. 33 laps to go. It's been a back and forth battle here between the 04 and 78. Side by side from 1st through 10th right now. I lied, actually. It's 1st through 8th. 57 and 88 there on the top of your screen, both 11 laps down. But it's still anybody's race here as we get towards the end of this thing. Current top 10 going to be Fishchishin, Parkhurst, Ford, Bishop, Smith, Osborne, Patterson, Lewis, Sleep, Wilmot. All of their drivers are 1 or more laps down. The 35 of David Mayo right now is going to be in your lucky dog position. 15 of Jack Scoville having a rough night. First race back in a while. He's kind of riding around by himself right now. Top lane kind of dissolving right now. Looks to be that Chris Bishop's the only one up there. Scott Ford Jr., though, gonna see if he can make a move for the lead. No help behind him, so he's likely gonna fall pretty far back here. Parkhurst getting loose. What a save by the 04. Holy smokes. Some driving by the 04 there to keep that car straight. I thought he was going around for sure. Logan Festchishin continues to hold on to the lead, looking for his first win of the season. "28 laps to go. This thing will be finished in about 15 minutes if it stays green. Time is beginning to run out. '62 for Scott Ford. Loose and into the wall. Everybody able to make it around him. Nope, we do have someone else around. The 38 Patterson around. 62 of Ford able to avoid. Let's take another look at what happened to the 38 here. We saw the 62 get into the wall. I'm not sure if what happened to the 38 was related to that. As we take another look here. 38 into the wall. Everyone checks up. Shane Fuller gets into the 42. Gets him loose in 38. Wrong place, the wrong time. Go ahead and go back one more time and we'll ride on board with the 62 here. This car just gets loose up into the wall trying to save it. Wow. Ford barely able to avoid Patterson there. He couldn't hardly see him. We'll go back live. Several drivers making what'll likely be their last pit stops of the night. You see Logan Festchishin pull into his box. He was the one to lead them down pit road in that 78 machine. Lots of cars taking fuel only. Race off pit road is going to be won by the 04 Mark Parkhurst. As far as drivers that stayed out, 35 David Mayo got the lucky dog, I believe. He just made his way on the pit road now. Everybody else that stayed on track. The 88, the 57, and the 15. Cody Moore, Shane Fuller, Jack Scoville. All getting waiver rounds here. Christian Taylor in that 96. Still on pit road. He's now down to 15th place. Has not retired from this race yet. But definitely not the birthday gift the 96 was looking to receive today. As I imagine our drivers are going to be choosing lanes this time. Parkhurst chooses high, Festchishin chooses low. And the lights are off on the pace car. Take a quick break before we go back green here at Atlanta. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be back shortly. Getting a report from the pits. Christian Taylor. A lot of work ahead if his team's going to be able to get that car back on track. 30 minutes of required repairs estimated to be left on that 96 machine. He's likely done for this race, unfortunately. Front row, Mark Parkhurst, Logan Festchischen. Row 2 is going to be Tyler Smith, Tony Osborne. The restarts have been interesting so far tonight. Let's see if we're going to have another interesting one. Pace car is off. The 78, Logan Festchischen. Following 04, Mark Parkhurst in the restart zone. Green flag back out. Parkhurst able to get a good launch cover up that spot on the 78 and retain that lead. Tyler Smith staying up high. He's going to have a little bit of help behind from the 62 of Ford. Those are your only two on the top lane, but Logan Festchischen wants the lead back. He's going to move up high now. Looks to me as they come across the stripe, the 78, Logan Festchischen going to be your leader once again. Moves down to the bottom lane now in front of the 04. We've got 22 laps to go in the 988 Hotline. 2:25 here at Atlanta. Parkhurst now goes up high with Tyler Smith behind. These guys are just battling back and forth for the lead. Across the line this time, it's going to be Parkhurst with the lead. The 78 and the 04 just switching back and forth. If I'm the 04, I've got to be thinking about sticking to that top lane while it is a little bit sketchier. Definitely quicker. The 62 gets loose again. They're wrecking behind. 62 almost went over. I believe Smith's involved. I know Bill Sleep was involved. Yellow flag back out. 20 laps to go here at Atlanta. It's going to be our 6th caution of the evening. Let's go back and take another look at what happened. You can see they're coming down the backstretch here. Right here, you see the 62 get loose, come down into the 10 and into the wall. Back down 64, nowhere to go. Same for the 42. Andy Lewis goes for a spin. And that's just how the cookie crumbles here at Atlanta. And these cars definitely struggling with keeping the tires underneath them. Track has cooled down a bit since the start of this race. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be helping these drivers maintain control all that much, because you still see them getting loose pretty much out of every corner. Parkhurst continues to hold the lead. Festchischen behind, Smith in third. We're going to go ahead and step back out for another quick break, and we'll be back for some more green flag racing. We take a look from our eye in the sky here. I stole the Hutchinson Motorsports blimp, at least for this race. He's going to need it back later, but don't tell him. Parkhurst and Festchischen have been battling all through the final stage for the lead. We'll see if anybody is able to upset these two, or if it's going to continue to be their battle. Pace car dips back down to pit road. They enter the restart zone. Green flag back out. The field is definitely looking sparse right now with all these wrecks that we've had. 62 of Scott Ford, your latest victim to fall onto pit road during green flag conditions. As back out in front, it's the familiar faces of the 04 of Parkhurst and the 78 of Festchischen. Logan has got to be glad to see his teammate Cam Patterson behind him once again here. 04 does come up to block. Decides to go back down. He's going to lead across the stripe. Festchischen and Patterson have been working good together all night. Those two are teammates. Parkhurst, his closest teammate is the 35 of David Mayo, the second car there on the bottom lane. He's out to a pretty good lead for the moment. Top lane is starting to get organized. Festchischen, Patterson, Smith, Sleep, Fuller on the top lane. Bottom lane is going to be Parkhurst, Osborne, Mayo, Moore, Wilmot. Rick Wilmot. I'm no expert, but it appears the 40 is missing something pretty important for aerodynamics. I don't see the hood of that car. Somehow, miraculously, he's been able to stay with the draft. Meanwhile, Logan Festchischen, officially your leader across the start-finish line there with 14 laps to go in tonight's race. We're getting down towards the final part here of this event. Scott Ford Jr. making his way back off of pit lane. He's now 5 laps down. Christopher Bishop is on the lead lap, but he's kind of in no man's land right now. He's on the backstretch as the leaders are going into turns 1 and 2. Festchischen and Parkhurst continuing to battle side by side. Bad push from Patterson, the 78 and the 04 into the wall. Festchischen, good job of locking the brakes down and staying back off the track. We're going to go back and take another look at this, but it looked to me like the 38 and 78 were trying to get a run down the backstretch, and it just might have been a bad push. Let's take a look from up above in our drone cam here. They get onto the backstretch. Cam Patterson trying to get his teammate to the lead, and just a bad push. 78 and the 04. Only cars involved. The 04. After leading a lot of laps this race, he's going to have to be making his way from the back of the field. That is going to move the 38, Cam Patterson, up to your lead, at least for now. Tyler Smith in the 23 car right behind. 11 laps to go here at Atlanta. You're likely not going to see any of these drivers come back down pit road again. Jack Scoville there in the 15. Gonna actually make his way back onto the lead lap for the final part of this race. Just a reminder of the upcoming schedule. After tonight's race at Atlanta finishes next week, we'll be heading to Pocono for 80 laps at the Tricky Triangle out there in Pennsylvania. I think I said that again wrong. I apologize. I'm terrible. I believe the All-Star race will be next week at Nashville, and then we'll be heading to Pocono. After we get those races done, we've got the Chicago Street Course, Richmond, and then Dover. So a street course and then a couple of short tracks finishing out our regular season. Should make for some interesting races. As we're getting towards the tail end of this thing, I appreciate everybody who has tuned in tonight to the 988 Hotline 225 here on the Donut Box Racing League's YouTube channel. As our drivers get ready to choose their lanes here, I assume. Patterson goes low, Smith high. Osborne, Bill sleep. David Mayo all choosing the low lane. Couple of lap down MDM teammates choosing the high lane of Moore and Fuller. As we're going to have about 8 laps to go when these drivers take the green flag. We'll see if it's going to be the last time or if the yellow flag is going to fly once again. We're going to have no breaks all the way to the end of this thing. I'm going to stay with the live action. Will Cam Patterson be able to pick up his 4th win of the season? Will Tyler Smith be able to get his first, or will someone else spoil the front row here? Pace car gonna dip off the track. As they head into the restart zone, Cam Patterson, your control car, green flag is back out. Cody Moore giving Tyler Smith a bit of a shove there on the top lane. Patterson out to your lead. Tony Osborne in that number 10 machine, the family man himself, looking to follow the 38. Side-by-side racing throughout your field here. Field is definitely looking small at the moment. The number 2 McIntyre, the number 9 of Warner, the number 96 of Taylor out of this race. Several other drivers multiple laps down. You've got 11 cars on the lead lap. 8 laps to go here at Atlanta. Patterson continues to control the bottom lane. Tyler Smith, Stage 2 winner, continues to control the top. Your top 5 right now, all on older tires. It's got to be a balance of trying to keep your speed together but not pushing it too hard. Smith in the 23 is going to be out to the lead now. He moves down to the bottom lane. Your top lane leaders right now, Cody Moore, Shane Fuller, are multiple laps down. 10 laps down to be exact. So they're not fighting for the win here. But the 23, the 38, the 10, and the 64 surely are. You see Osborne move up to the top lane, looking to get some help from his teammates behind. See if they can make some sort of run here towards the front. More trying to push Osborne, getting him loose there. These cars do not like when they are pushed here tonight. As we saw by our last wreck, the 64 Asleep getting a little loose. He moves up to the top lane now. That car still looks loose. Side-by-side racing for third place on back. See the 62 of Ford Jr. on the right side of the screen. Lapped car staying out of the way. It's the safest way to do it. 15 of Scoville getting loose. He ends up down on the apron. The red line rule is in effect, but the 15 did not end up making a pass due to that, as he was loose. Tyler Smith up to block the top lane. Bill Sleep giving him a shove. Oh my gosh, 3 or 4 cars involved. Big wreck here. 4 to go. Smith went up the track to block Sleep, gave him a bad push, and it came back to bite the 64. Let's go back and see what the heck just happened. I didn't have words for a second. There were so many cars bouncing back and forth. Let's go back and take another look at this one and slow it down. See, they come out of the corner and the 23 goes high to block that top lane. 64 just kind of hooks his bumper. They both go up into the wall. Osborne could not slow down in time. And the 35 and the 78 just nowhere to go. 35 of Mayo and the 64 Asleep hard into the inside wall. You see the 10 and the 88 getting sideways there. Both of those guys sliding through the corner. Let's back it up one more time and see what it looks like from on board the 04. Looks like he had a good angle. That wreck definitely changes things. Here in the Donut Box Xfinity Series at Atlanta. See the 42? Chris Bishop there on the bottom of the track. That car has certainly seen better days. It'll be interesting to see if the 42 still has his faster pair left in the tank, but if he doesn't, he's likely out of this race. We're going to have ourselves a green-white checkered restart when this thing goes back green. Smith, Patterson, Osborne, Festchician, Parkhurst. Your top 5 at the moment. As they choose lanes this time, Smith goes to the bottom, Patterson to the top. Behind them is Osborne and Festchician, Parkhurst. And I believe that's the 15 of Scoville. Yes, third car on the bottom lane. Scoville had a struggle during the middle part of this race. He was 1 to 2 laps down. But he's clawed his way back to have a shot here at the end of this race. Scoville missing the last few weeks. On a little vacation. He's made his way back tonight. Looking to finish off his return with a bang. Who will it be for this green-white checkered? Will Patterson pick up his 4th win? Will one of our other winners get their 2nd, or will we have a new winner here tonight at Atlanta? Green flag back out. Potentially for the last time here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Smith gets a good jump over Patterson. Patterson has his teammate Logan Festischen right behind him. We'll see if those two are able to make a run work. We know these cars don't like to be pushed. They'll have to be mindful of that as they try to work together. Osborne ended up below the red line there, but no passes were made. As Patterson makes his bid for the lead now on Smith. They come across the stripe. The white flag's going to be out. The next flag ends it. Patterson and Smith side by side for your lead. Festischen right behind on the top lane. 57 of Fuller not fighting for the win, but he's heading towards the front. 3 wide for the lead. Cam Patterson, Tyler Smith, Logan Festischen. Festischen up into the wall. The 38's going around. Smith gets away clean. The field piles up behind him. Tyler Smith. His first win of the season. Jack Scoville comes home with a P2. Patterson, P3. These results are unofficial, but it looks like Wilmot, P4. And Osborne, P5. Holy smokes. What a win for the 23. We'll have to go back and look at that final caution, or that final wreck. But Tyler Smith wins stage 2 and comes away with his first win of the season, the driver out of Texas. Smith going to lock himself into the playoffs with tonight's win. Let's go back and take another look at that final lap. You can see Smith and Patterson here side by side. And then you see Patterson there going low. Festischen goes high. And they're 3 wide going into turn 3 here. 04 is up right behind the 78. Gets him a little loose. The 78 catches the wall. And then the 23 coming down out of the corner just hooks the 38 and breaks him loose. '04 and 88 nowhere to go. And the whole rest of the field piles up behind him. Tyler Smith, your only driver to get away clean. Scoville is going to come across the stripe in P2 after battling back from laps down. And then Patterson barely takes home the 3rd place over Rick Wilmot. Let's go ahead and talk to your 3rd place finisher, barely. Cam Patterson in the 38. Cam, it's Jesse up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Man, you led a good couple of laps this race, and it looked like you might get your 4th win of the season there when we crossed for the white flag. It just wasn't meant to be, but you still come home 3rd on the podium after a hectic race at Atlanta. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. I feel pretty satisfied. Good points. I really wanted Logan to get that. That's why I was behind him for so long and didn't want to battle him. And honestly, if we stayed green and I didn't make that mistake with bumping him and taking him out, which I'm really glad that he recovered from that because I felt awful because this was his race. I would have stayed behind him. I wouldn't have fought him that hard because he needs this playoff position more than I did. But he's still got good good stage points with the P2 and P3 in stage 1 and 2. And I was there in the top 10 as well, behind him, trying to help him. And I was honestly really hoping that I would have gotten that win because Logan just made a simple mistake up top. I would have done the same. These cars have been feeling like really rough this entire race. But then Tyler, he just got a little bit loose and had contact from behind and just made contact with me. So I don't blame him for that at all. It happens, and let's still manage to get to top 3. So I'll take it.
Yeah, these cars were definitely tough to handle tonight, and I thought you guys might finish 3 wide across the stripe for a second there going into turn 3, and unfortunately it fell apart, but you still come home with the podium. You got any shout-outs you want to make?
Shout out to my teammate Logan Physician. Always great race with him, and good helping him as well in these super speedways. These are the type of tracks that someone like me especially needs this teammate because I have the worst luck here. As you've seen, I got involved in like a few wrecks, but got lucky with no super long fast repairs. And shout out to Cody Moore for making this league and you for broadcasting. I'm glad that you're making it available for my parents to watch. And on that 3 wide comment, it would have been pretty cool, but sadly we are not professional cup drivers. So I honestly am surprised that. I'm not surprised that we weren't able to do it, but it would have been awesome. So yeah, good fun race.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Congratulations again on the P3.
Appreciate it.
Continuing to strengthen your points lead, I'm sure, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
That was the driver of the 38, Mr. Cam Patterson, bringing it home. P3, our next gentleman to talk to, good friend of mine, Storm Motorsports driver of the 15, Mr. Jack Scoville. It's Jesse up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on, Jesse?
Man, what in the world? Like, you were laps down for a good bit of the race. You were able to fight back, get some lucky dogs and wave arounds. Now you come home second, making it around whatever that mess was at the end. How does it feel?
I was ready to give up, and luckily I just stuck with it because I knew there was going to be a caution towards the end. So I was able to put some fresh tires on it. Got loose on that first stint when I was trying to make up the ground, and then they wrecked in front of me. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise. So they wrecked in front of me. I got up to maybe 6th or 7th and got held up there. Was hoping to be able to contend for the win. Got held up, and on that last set of corners, I had to take it 3 wide, and I had to try to get as many positions as I could. And they wrecked in front of us. The people I went 3 wide with, we all held our lines and did what we could do to avoid a wreck, and we did. And it's always scary going down there below that line, even if it is a wreck, just because you don't know what they might call. You don't know how the call is going to go. But I know I made the decision to keep my car clean, keep it out of the wreck, and came home with a 2nd place.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely congrats on that 2nd place. A tough night for your teammates. You're the only Storm Motorsports driver to bring it home on the lead lap, with Taylor and Warner ending up out of the race and Ford ending up 7 laps down. So definitely a tough night for the team, but you got any shout-outs you want to make before I send you back down?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out the whole Storm team. We've been having not the greatest season as shown here, but we're working through it, and just to be able to come home with a 2nd place after being laps down, after my teammates were in my ear telling me don't give up, come on, we got a lot of racing to go. So shout out to everybody who was in that Discord, just making me want to keep going. And shout out to you for putting it on, and shout out to Cody for letting us race here, and Frank for coming up with the idea again. And big shout out to Tyler Smith. Good win on him. The racing tonight, in my opinion, was not the best, but it's Atlanta. It's crazy. Cars don't handle well, and we did really good. And it was a I do think it was a good showing for the suicide prevention hotline race here.
Absolutely. And just for anyone out there, 988 hotline, there's somebody out there to listen to you if you need some help. And you can check out the ad up here in the top left of the screen 24/7, 365 if you need somebody to call. They're right there for you. And going to send you back down. Congratulations on the P2, and hopefully I'll be seeing you out on the track Monday for the Cup race, buddy.
Yes, you will. Thank you very much, Jesse.
And later. There's one gentleman left to talk to one more time. The man in the 23, winner of Stage 2, winner of the race, Tyler Smith. It's Jesse up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yes, sir.
Well, for one, I got to congratulate you on the win, and for two, congratulations on being the only top 3 driver to leave his car on the track. So, big round of applause for you on that. No one ever listens to me when I say, please leave your car on the track. So, good job there for you. Bringing home the win after they all pile into each other behind you. How does it feel?
It was, I don't know, man. It was exciting. It was nervous. I was shaking the last half of the final lap, but I think I don't think I did. I definitely touched Cam. I think he was coming up the block, and I was gonna dive underneath him, and we came together a little bit. I got him loose. There was nothing intentional. I apologize, Cam, if you're listening. I also apologize to him in the race, but no, it's exciting. I was like 16th in points, and yeah, it wasn't looking good. I have not had a good time in the Xfinity League, so this is nice. This was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to be locked into the playoffs now.
Yeah, now I can race more free.
Yeah, not get a little bit of stress off your back. Going to be racing into the playoffs here in about 5-6 weeks. You got any shout outs you want to make tonight after the win, man?
No, just thanks to all my buddies, my dad. Thanks for the people that watch. They got to stop texting me during the race though. It's hard not to look. I always want to know what they're saying, and yeah. But shout out to the people that are actually watching.
Dude, speaking of texting,
thanks to you
like
for
people
broadcasting.
texting during the race, Discord has changed their notification sounds to like some spooky, scary skeleton kind of stuff for Halloween.
Oh,
In the
yeah,
middle of
I
that
heard.
race, some Discord I'm in started blowing up, and I was about to lose my mind. So I definitely get the
Spooky
feeling.
season.
Absolutely, man. I believe next week's going to be Halloween, the All-Star race, if I think correctly, at Nashville. So we'll be looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing you if you're there. Congrats again on the win and the Stage 2
I'll try
win.
and make it next week.
Locking yourself into the playoff. Number 23,
Yes, sir.
Tyler Smith. So that'll wrap up our show tonight here in the Donut Box Racing League's Xfinity Series Season 2. Thank you all for tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll be back with you next week. Maybe for some spooky Halloween action. Maybe we'll get some creative drivers out there to throw some spooky little paints on the cars. Who knows what'll happen. But it'll definitely be fun to watch. And we'll see you next week here on the Donut Box Racing League's YouTube channel.